Overthinking K-pop is celebrating 1,000 subscribers already? Well, technically we hit it on May 4th, 2024, less than 2 months after launch on March 8th. But I needed time to put this episode together once we hit our goal, and episodes drop on Fridays anyway, so this will be going live fashionably late. I can't possibly thank you enough for your support. To celebrate the occasion, I'm doing a channel Amma. I asked users on my community tab to submit questions they'd like me to answer, and these are some of the ones they came up with because I received way more than I was expecting. Thank you to everyone who submitted them, in particular Catnag, who single-handedly gave me enough to complete an episode on his own. I wasn't able to get to everybody's questions, but in particular in the case of people who asked multiple, I did try to answer at least one or two of the ones that you asked. That said, if I had to think about your question for longer than 30 seconds, I decided that I was gonna make it an episode topic and give it a proper overthinking rather than trying to cram it into this episode. So if your question didn't appear here, it doesn't mean I won't answer it someday. I also have a really big channel announcement. Obviously, you won't want to miss it. But in case you'd like to skip around the episode, there are timestamps in the description to make it easier to navigate. Let's not waste any more time. Starting with, several people asked how I am. I am great. Thank you for asking, although I'm a little overwhelmed by how many questions I gotta get through, so I'm gonna be snappy about this. I'm gonna try. So, several people asked how I got into K-pop initially. Fair question. The first time I heard K-pop was actually when Boa did the opening theme for Serial Experiments Lane, which was an anime that was super duper ahead of its time back in the late 90s. The song was in all English, so I assumed that they had gotten an American to sing it because it was perfect. It genuinely blew my mind when I found out that they had gotten a Korean singer to do an English theme song for a Japanese anime. Like I said, ahead of its time. And actually ahead of my time too, because I didn't really latch on to K-pop at that time. I just became aware of it at that time. I basically didn't think about it again until the 2020 elections when I heard that a bunch of K-pop stans had actually trolled the Republican National Committee by getting a bunch of fake tickets to a Trump rally and also spamming the Twitter with fan cams of K-pop idols, and I was blown away by the creativity and hilariousness of it all. I love a good troll. But it still took me another year or so to figure out what all the fuss was about, and if you haven't checked out my 5 K-pop music videos that everyone should see video, that one includes the anecdote of the very first K-pop video I found, so check that out after this one is done. Peachx Taehyung asked, what are your all-time favorite groups, which is like too broad of a question. But who inspired to make my channel is very straightforward, so I will answer that one. I owe direct thank yous to Taeju and Cho Jamie for both inspiring me to start this channel and helping me get it off the ground initially. I guarantee that we wouldn't be having this video this early without their support. Riley asked how my appreciation eventually came to me wanting to make a channel and what kind of videos I want to make the most. Related questions with related answers, actually. My K-pop obsession kind of spiraled out of control, and I didn't really have anybody to talk about it with. Like, I'm a millennial, and you can see from my viewership numbers that most millennials don't really listen to K-pop. They don't know where to start. The culture is overwhelming and honestly kind of ageist. Check out Hoshining's video recently, by the way. I'll link it below. But the thing is, I think that millennials would really like this music if they were properly exposed to it and understood how the culture worked a little bit more intimately without having to deal with all of the bullshit on TikTok. I have literally 3 friends who were into K-pop before they met me independently, none of whom I see in person on a regular basis. So basically, I created this channel to try and make the case to all of my other millennial friends that they should listen to K-pop because they might really like it if they knew about it. So my primary goal is to make videos that make K-pop accessible to people who don't really understand K-pop. I'm not really sure how that's going to end up working out because I'm still trying to figure out what this channel's flavor is really like. I have so many episode ideas that it's really been a struggle to try and figure out which ones are worth making first. That's one of the cool things about being one of the first subscribers to this channel is you'll really have an opportunity to shape what direction my content goes in the future. So stay active in those comment threads because at least for the time being, I read every single one of them. Overall though, I think it's a pretty safe bet that the only way gossip will work its way into this channel is either as in-jokes or me taking the time to step back and explain a drama pile in a way to make it accessible to people who don't understand it. This channel will never be kooky lit. Someone else asked what motivates me to create content and how do I get ideas for my videos. I watch a lot lot of music videos and Ktube videos, and they give me ideas for where my content should come from and what it should look like. The ideas I have more than I know what to do with. The motivation is fleeting and precious, and must be seized whenever it arises. See Exhibit A, recording audio at 3 o'clock in the morning. There have been multiple instances where I seized on a bout of hyperfocus and greeted my husband when he woke up for work the next morning. Sometimes it do be like that. Catnang asked, how has my Ktube beginning felt and been? Exciting, inspiring, nerve-wracking, only mildly stressful? I'm a walking, talking ADHD nightmare, so trying to keep myself on a production schedule is definitely a challenge, but I think I'm up to it. I'm still learning how to create videos, so my production process is really painstaking and slow compared to some creators. Like on average, it probably takes me about 3 or 4 hours for every 1 minute of content you see, which is not exactly quick. I'm super envious of creators who can pump a video out in a single day because that's just unheard of for me right now. But hopefully if you're watching, you'll agree that my video production is worth the trouble. Like probably I don't have to put so many details into every single thing, but I also don't know how not to. I'm sure I could skip out on the captions and save so many hours, but I feel like they're important and add value. One of my favorite jokes is asking people how they would spell Chaeyoung if they were going to Google it. You'll get a different answer from every person you ask. And because one of my goals is to make this channel accessible to people who don't know about K-pop, I think it's really important to actually spell out all of those names every time they occur. So thank you to everyone who's given me any kind of positive reinforcement that that effort is worth the trouble, because it doesn't come to me naturally and I'm figuring it out as I go. It does also mean that the sky's the limit though. This is the very beginning of this channel. This content is going to be a lot better a year from now, so I really hope you stick around and see what I have in store. He also asked what my favorite video I've done so far was. That's tough, because I'm really proud of a lot of the content I've created so far. I think that as far as first videos go, my What the Fuck is K-pop video is a phenomenal channel intro. I am genuinely very proud of how it turned out. In terms of contributing to Ktube though, I think my baddie video really has a lot to offer. That one definitely is not targeted at beginners, and it's probably too long for most. The fact that that video was so successful means that I'll make more deep dives like that in the future, so like I said, you'll get to impact what this channel looks like. Several other people asked what I listen to outside of K-pop. Primarily a lot of EDM, trap, drum and bass, but I listened to metal when I was growing up. I'm almost 40, so I've gone through a billion different phases with music. At this point, my background is extremely diverse, and yet weirdly ignorant of popular culture all at the same time. Funny how that works.
Whatever.
Someone else asked how I normally listen to music. I have a huge Spotify playlist I've been building since I started listening to K-pop, which you're welcome to find in my links below. But I also believe that K-pop is fundamentally an audio-visual medium, so whenever possible, I try to take in music as a music video first, because I think that that's its most complete form. You get to experience the concept and the choreography, and you see it as they fully envisioned it. So usually it works out that I find the music on YouTube and then listen to it repeatedly on Spotify. Someone asked, what's my favorite variety show? Easy question. I don't have one because I find watching them to be a personal torture chamber. In addition to my crippling ADHD, I'm also autistic, and watching other people in awkward or uncomfortable or painful situations is just so excruciating for me, and I don't find any joy in it whatsoever. No offense to anybody who loves that content, like I love that for you. Different strokes for different folks. Starlost Theater asked what a type of story I would like to see in a K-pop music video would be. Easy answer. Sci-fi every time. I feel like music videos are the perfect media to explore sci-fi concept because they're naturally just so ethereal. So anytime I see a concept like that in a music video, I'm instantly sold. On a related note, Ktube asked what my 10 of 10 K-pop album would be, and it is New DNA by XG, which had a whole sci-fi concept. If you didn't already see my discography ranking from them, that would be another good video to watch after this one. I haven't heard any Wonder Girls before, so I'll check that out as soon as I'm done making this episode. Kawaii Hamsta asked what concepts intrigue me most. I already mentioned sci-fi earlier, but I do love a really good dystopian concept, so I think that counts. On a related note, someone asked me what group has the best lore. I am never going to claim to be any kind of expert on any group's lore. I am at most aware of it existing and amused by it existing, but never going to be neck deep in it. I feel exactly the same way about the SMCU that I feel about the regular MCU, which is to say that I can name a couple of the characters and maybe tell you some of the stuff that happened, but I'm not going to be able to get all of the jokes. and I'm definitely not going to pretend to give a shit. To follow up to that, will I ever make a video on 17's lore? No, I can't even name all of the members of 17, let alone tell you a single thing about their lore. Sorry about it. I'm not gonna lie, I still don't get the hype. I would love to be wrong though, so post your favorite 17 track in the comments and I'll try to check them out with an open mind. Katnag's last question was about Weena's music. I had never heard of Weena, and I bet you I'm not the only one. Thank you for sharing this with me. Would never have encountered this otherwise, and I really enjoyed it. I'm willing to say with 95% confidence that pretty much anybody who enjoys So Bad by Stacey would enjoy Like Psycho by Weena. So if you've never heard of them, check them out. Maybe you'll like them too. Thanks for the tip. Several other folks asked me about groups that I don't stand. The answer is no, but I'll check them out and get back to you. I'm gonna have a lot of homework to do after this video. What is one K-pop music video unpopular opinion you have? That Batty was genius. Check out my video on it. Next person asked what my favorite color was. He thought it was kind of basic. As any self-respecting Monty Python fan will tell you, this is actually a very important question, and I have an answer. It's pink. But it needs to be like a cool, abrasive pink. Like Barbie pink, but if you meant it. My best friend Katie, may she rest in peace, described it as fuck you pink, and I think that works. Put it on a crayon. I would buy it. Someone else asked if I could change one thing about the K-pop industry, what would it be? Easy answer, zero hesitation, stop debuting minors. Okay, next up, opinion on what I'm assuming is supposed to be HYBE and DahnWorld. Are they connected? Oh my god. If you haven't heard about this gossip, I would really recommend checking out some of the videos that Angelina has been doing about the HYBE and Minheejin drama, because I don't even want to try to get into it here. TLDR, I do think it's possible that there is some connection between HYBE and DahnWorld, and I also think that it has fucking nothing to do with Minheejin, and it's a red herring. She is just throwing out any gossip and trying to see what will stick to the walls. If it turns out to be true, that'll be hilarious though. Someone else said, "You're so well-spoken and witty." Oh, thank you. Are there any words that are my favorite? Yeah, so actually you can add to your overthinking K-pop lore that this isn't my first YouTube channel. I actually had a gaming channel once upon a time back when I was sort of a big deal in the World of Warcraft, and my character name was Clearly. I still respond to that word as if it was my name because it was my name for so many years. Like I snap to attention when I hear somebody say it from across the room. I even considered calling this channel Clearly K-pop. Ultimately, I think the one that I settled on is more accurate, though. Do you have any pets? Yes, I have two. I have a cat named Tucker who got a song in the 5 K-pop music videos everyone should see video. And I also have my cat Marla, who is 11 years his senior and half his size, twice the attitude. Someone else asked, other than K-pop, what am I interested in? Like many ADHD people, I have a lot of hobbies and I'm mediocre at all of them. In particular, I ride an electric unicycle, I hula hoop, I spin fire, and I also know more about nuclear power than probably almost anybody you know. But I could only make a YouTube channel about one special interest at a time, and K-pop won. Someone else asked what my favorite song is currently. I don't want to pick a favorite, but I will tell you I have been smashing the repeat button on Heya like it's going out of style. So if I was going to pick a song of the week, that would be it. Someone asked if I had any recent K-pop groups I personally wanted to recommend. Yeah, check out Young Posse. They got kind of a bad rap because people were creeped out by macaroni and cheese, but honestly, they're a lot of fun and I really like all of their tracks. They're very heavy hip-hop focused, so Blackpink fans might like them maybe? Next up, if I could choose one underrated song to go viral, what would it be? Let's go with Amigos by Becky G and BB. I might even make a video about that one someday. Gotta do my part, you know? Okay, I guess Catnut gets one more question. What side am I for on the pineapple on pizza debate? Sir, I'm autistic. Don't put anything on my pizza but cheese and sauce. I'm not gonna say I'll have a meltdown, but I definitely will not eat it. Oh my god, we made it to announcement time! Guys, I'm really excited about this. My big channel announcement is that I'm starting a newsletter. Don't worry, I promise I won't spam you, and I'm definitely never going to sell your information. I just want a way to be able to keep up with you about what's going on with my channel. I'm heavily considering launching merch in the future, and I want to be able to do some market research about what that is going to look like. So if you want to get in on that, I'll post a link on the comments and you can be one of the founding members of an OK newsletter. I'm not promising it'll be great, but it should be at least decent. That does it for today. If you're one of the 10% of people or so who subscribed and who've been watching my content and enjoying it, I really appreciate your support. Be sure to sign up for the newsletter. Thanks for watching. Don't be toxic, and I'll catch you next time.